welcome to my channel. Thanks for tuning in today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit your notification bell for all new upcoming videos. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about being apprehensive, or just asking yourself this question: am I apprehensive? This is a really good question to ask yourself, because apprehensiveness can lead to procrastination and a lot of fearful outcomes and doubts. And we want to make sure that we are aware if we are being apprehensive or in a stage, which is another biblical principle term, and it's called evil forebodings. And I've been doing a lot of research into it because I found myself reading the Joyce Meyer, and she had asked that question: if anyone who reads it, if we have foreboding thoughts. And when I looked up what is another synonym toward it, it's apprehensive, which is basically the definition I put here is foreboding or evil foreboding is referred to like a sense of dread or intuitive feeling that something bad is going to happen, often without like clear evidence to support it. So if you always have like a sense of something bad's going to happen in a situation, or this is going to be a bad day, or this is going to be a bad month, and all the type of things when it comes to like negative patterns and negative thoughts can be foreboding, and it also can hinder any kind of progress that you're trying to do in your life. So I wanted to give you guys some ways to prevent or manage these foreboding or evil thoughts, however you want to say it, or apprehensive ways. That way you can target it before it comes or when it comes, and be able to hone in and own it and work on it and push through it, because we're always going to have these what ifs or these scary moments or these times of fear where we think the worst might happen before the best, or we try to prepare for the worst but hoping for the best. But I feel like if we keep our mindset always focused on the best, then we will receive the best. It's always good to have that sense of, wait, and let's think and pay attention, but it's not the sense of this something bad's gonna happen, because sometimes we could be apprehensive about something and it could be a good thing. So that's why we have to learn that what our emotions is when we are apprehensive, and how to own it and then push through it. Because once we do that, then we can get the clear evidence of what's really going on. Because when we are apprehensive or having these evil thoughts, like I said, it's no clear evidence of if it's going to happen or if it's not. So if we just hone in on, I'm a little apprehensive and I'm just going to pay attention and be aware and discerning, that way we can navigate those areas of fear, doubt, or apprehensiveness or bad thinking, and then we can start to find the positive in it and then push through with that. And then it becomes easier and easier to think like, okay, I'm apprehensive about this, but I'm going to look in the good in it. I'm not going to focus on the what if, instead of just starting diving into what the bad could be and making up plans of how you're going to get out of it. I can give a example of something I was really apprehensive about for a long time in my life, and that was marriage and relationships. I had a lot of evil foreboding thoughts and what ifs and intuitive bad feelings every time that a relationship would appear or come close, and it would really push me away from it. And I found that it was really just the what ifs that I had in my mind, coming from not being able to prevent it and understanding it, as well as learning how to manage it. So when it does come, I know how to navigate better than following the worst and losing out on something amazing, instead of just honing in on what I'm apprehensive on and paying attention to it. And if it does happen, knowing that I'm going to get through it. Number one, I put as mindfulness and being present and focused. We want to make sure that we're engaging in mindfulness techniques, as well as concentrating on the current moment that we're in. So if we are focusing on work, or if we are focusing on a task, instead of dwelling on what another person may be doing in that moment, or being apprehensive on how you're doing something, you can be more focused on just doing it. That way, however the outcome is, you can see at the end, instead of always thinking you can control what you are apprehensive about, because that's what happens a lot of time when we are apprehensive, is because we're not in control and we can't control something or someone. So we come up with scenarios and the what ifs and start trying to figure out ways to get out of those what ifs that were no evidence in the beginning or not even clear that that was going to happen. So that's why we have to stay present in where we are, because if we start thinking about things that aren't going to happen, we can bring that into fruition into our lives. Now, I did forget, but we're going to be mentioning Proverbs 15:15 verse for this teaching here on foreboding thoughts and being apprehensive, and practical tips on how to manage and prevent it. So number 2, we're going to be on cognitive reconstructing. This is challenging irrational thoughts, like, example, if you are dealing with someone and you have trust issues, you can probably think that when you're not near them or they don't pick up the phone at a certain time, you get those intrusive thoughts like, okay, they're cheating or they're lying or this isn't going to work. So you get those kind of thoughts, and those are not good thoughts to have. So we want to make sure we challenge those, because then once we have them, we're thinking, why do we think that's happening? It's like you just got to start questioning yourself as to what evidence is proving what thought you have. Then we go to, like, when you feel dread, and you just feel like weary, you have to find the evidence that is making you feel that way, so you can hone in on it and then figure out how to get through it. If we start ignoring these type of feelings and emotions, that's what makes us stuck, and then also starts us to have poor behaviors. Number 3, I put down as focus on problem solving. If there's something that you can actually fix in that moment when you are having those foreboding thoughts or negative thoughts that come in your mind, you want to hone in on, is it something I can fix right now? So if you're having issues with your kitchen being dirty is bothering you, is it something you can go fix? You can fix that. Or like for me, sometimes I don't like checking the mail, so I'll come up with excuses why I have to go to the mail, and then it'll start to make me have like worry. So then I'll go to the mail, and then it'll take the worry away, like, okay, there's nothing in there. And this is just for different people with their own fears when it comes to things that are intrusive in your mind and holding you back. You have to start finding out, are these issues I can fix right now, or are these issues I need to let go and let God gradually fix, and then I will enter my way into them. So moving on, number 4. Number 4 is gratitude, which is one of the most important things to remove those negative thoughts or those bad feeling intuitive mindset that can come and be conditioned in your head. And a way to prevent those and manage them is gratitude, by regularly reminding yourself of the positive things in your life, like what's around you, what you have, reminding yourself of people who don't have it and how fortunate you are too. Sometimes they say it's not good to compare yourself to others, but when you look at the gratitude perspective, you should want to pay attention to what others are lacking that you have, because you don't even know. Sometimes in those situations you can end up helping somebody, which also benefits you when it comes to negative thoughts, because it gives you something to have in your mind that's good. Once we start building ourselves with good thoughts and good things and good measures, we will start to not dwell on those negative things, have those negative mindsets or conditioned ways, because we will be implementing good things, good deeds, good thoughts, good ways. Also with gratitude, it helps you focus on a positive shift of mindset instead of negative. Like I said, you do have the right to choose your thoughts. So when you are being cognitive on reconstructing your actual mind, you need to make sure you're reconstructing it to the positive and not the negative things. That way you can progress and not degress. And gratitude also keeps you balanced and have a balanced perspective. Like I said earlier, it makes you look at the world and understand that even when you don't have everything you think you should, you're still blessed, because you're doing things that others can't do. See, hear, walk, work out, anything, eat, cook whatever you want, peace, sleep at night, whatever it is. There are people who are not getting any of those things. So we have to stay focused on what we have. That way when we do build and grow, we'll remain in humility and be humble. Number 5 is self-care. Physical well-being plays a role in emotional resilience, which means that physical well-being plays a role in your emotional well-being. If you are not physically well, you will not respond emotionally well. You have to keep yourself clean, you have to keep yourself fed, you have to keep yourself rested, you have to sleep. I know a lot of people say don't sleep, but sometimes, like I said, if you don't eventually sleep, you will break down, or you emotionally won't be able to withstand conversations or relationships, because your body is what moves you forward. If you can't move your body, you can't talk, you can't engage, then you can't move forward. So you have to take care of yourself. Number 6 is seeking support. You want to have a good community around you, whether it's family or friends, especially spouse. If it's spouse, you have to really make sure that is your biggest supporter, because that's going to be your backbone for the rest of your life. And if you have someone who's constantly doubting you or making negative comments around you or making you feel less than, then they are not the ones you need to have in your corner, because who you have in your corner is what you're going to end up likely becoming. Talking with trusted friends and families or professionals that can actually help you process your feelings. So speaking with people who have background in it or understanding or empathy, that'll be able to help you progress in your own emotional vulnerability and how to manage and navigate it. And then you also have sometimes just voicing your worries and reducing the grip. So sometimes we have to just vent it. Like, I find like I can be frustrated on something, and as soon as I let it out, it kind of just wipes out of my mind, because we do carry things in our heart and in our mind, and if we don't have a release, then it bottles up and stay in us, which starts to come out of us by our behaviors, our physical well-being, our mental well-being, and sometimes it can lead to people even taking their own lives. I also wanted to mention about with the seeking support, the importance of understanding it's a give and take. Relationship is not just a take. And this is an example. I was watching a show, and it was a young girl who was in a prestige school, and her mother was so proud of her, but the girl ended up killing herself. And at the end, when I was looking at it, me and the Holy Spirit were just watching it, and something just spoke to my spirit where it was saying like, the mother was taking too much from the daughter. That's why the daughter killed herself, because not only was she was being bullied in school, but she had no support. She was so busy being her mother's support that she couldn't get no support from her mother while she was being bullied. And that led her to kill herself because she had no one. So sometimes we have to know when we are taking too much and when it's time to give, because not everybody has the capacity to keep filling up your cup. And that's also why it's important to have a relationship with Jesus, because he is the one that's going to initially have your cup filled so you can give to others. And then when people pour into you, it will be an added addition, not a needed addition. Let's talk about that. Not to say it was her mother's fault that her daughter killed herself, but the mother was lacking understanding as to why the daughter never came to her and told her. But when I was watching the show, she was saying like comments like this, like, my daughter always told me to be the bigger person and always be strong. It's like, when you look at those kind of conversations, some of those things is what you should be telling your daughter. Your daughter shouldn't always be your emotional support or your uplifter. So just like with your spouse, that's the same thing. You have to know that there is a limit with people, and you have to be a give and take with it. And sometimes you have to just be a giver and let the Lord fill your cup, and then once you are able to fill theirs, they can fill you back. But to constantly take, you can end up driving someone to not be able to really be vulnerable and open up with you, because you're always the one that's the strength, or they're always the one that's the strength, if I'm saying it correctly. But I wasn't, just want to dial back in on that, because I wasn't saying like the mother killed her daughter. I was just saying that she didn't know about it, or she didn't have no idea that it could happen, because she was so busy, looking at her daughter as a strong one, instead of being a unity with the daughter and knowing that the daughter's going to need her help one day. She can't always rely on her daughter's uplifting and empowerment and strength. So yeah, it's just a give and take, and just knowing that support goes both ways. Number 7 is limited exposure to stressors. So learning your triggers and watching your ear and eye gate, which means watching what you watch, watching what you listen to, and who you speak with. If you know that you're dealing with people who are constantly giving you stress or giving you mixed feelings, then they are the ones you need to cease who you're with, because they can bring out the evil thoughts in you, the or the negative thoughts in you. You don't want people to bring out the worst or the bad parts that you're trying to heal and overcome and change. Then also watching negative news and distressing movies and stuff like that, or music, can also alter your mindset. If you're trying to step into a new role of, you know, motherhood or wife or whatever, and then you're finding yourself hanging out with women who are not in that category, who don't want to be, who aren't acting in that manner, who don't, you're listening to stuff that doesn't have the same resonation of what your mind is or who your heart is, then that is conflicting. So it's always good and important to limit the exposure to your stressors and the things that causes you to be in a negative mindset. Alright guys, thanks again for watching my channel. I hope these practical tips on preventing evil, foreboding thoughts be better for you. It was 7 tips. I hope that you guys liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and then check out my website for my infused with body butters. It's also going to be a lot of good news coming this year in 2025 that I'll be sharing on my YouTube channel about my business and the elevation. I'm also going to be doing a pop-up shop coming up just to get my name out there more within the city that I'm in. So stay tuned to videos and reels and all that kind of stuff on what's going to be in store. Have a great day.